Hey, why don't you come here for a sec? This video is going to change your life. These three movies that I'm about to talk about changed my life. Why can't they change your life? Seriously though, I really do believe films can change your life, and these films are not my favorite three films in the world or anything, but they have had a profound impact on me. Let's not filibuster this at all, let's go straight into the movies. Here are three movies that changed my life.
Big mistake. The reason serial killers can roam around free in our country is that they have no connection between themselves and their victims. So, you just made a big mistake letting Sonny see the two of us together.
This movie is really funny to start the list off with. I do not even like this movie. I'm so serious, it's fair to say I hate this movie. But I've really come to enjoy Lars von Trier, and I ranked all of his films as one of my earliest projects. So how did this change my life? Well, I remember how I first watched this movie. I was 19, working maintenance, and I had nothing to do, so I sat on my golf cart and watched movie reviews. I came across Chris Stuckman's utter disgust for this movie.
It's really just his use of the incredible narcissistic side to him that ruined entire portions of the film.
And the edgy 19-year-old in me was like, oh, I gotta watch this. At this time in my life, I was truly in the discovery stage of my film watching career. I only really enjoyed sports movies, music biopics, and other crappy stuff. The House That Jack Built was my first attempt at watching more mature content, and man was it a doozy. Even though I hated every second of this film and I didn't really understand the subtext that Lars von Trier was going for, referring to his own films that I had not seen yet at the time.
And the body is all the dangerous things, for example, art and icons.
I knew that this would be something that would take over me. The House That Jack Built is a film about a serial killer following a few inciting events in his life, and eventually going for the biggest collateral ever, and also eventually making his way through hell. After watching every Lars von Trier movie, I'd actually recommend Dancer in the Dark and Antichrist the most. I do recommend watching my video because I took a long time breaking down each one of his films. He's a controversial figure for sure, but he's suffering from Parkinson's now, and I don't think we should discredit his contribution to the film world.
I understand Hitler.
What did he say?
Only I wasn't so happy about being a Jew that I was really a Nazi.
The House That Jack Built may not be his best movie, but I can confidently say it was the movie that got me into better movies. As funny as that sounds. When I was undergoing this film renaissance that I was attempting at 19 years old, sitting on the golf cart, I remember seeing an image from Under the Skin as I was researching films. I had to watch it. Under the Skin is an experimental horror sci-fi film from the fantastic Jonathan Glazer. Glazer has become one of my favorite filmmakers while only making a few films to his name. Really can't recommend Under the Skin, Birth, and Zone of Interest enough. Under the Skin in my film journey was my first attempt at watching abstract surrealism. Honestly speaking, to this day, probably one of my favorite genres. At my current age, the films I respect the most are heavy in themes and aren't really plot-based, if that makes any sense. Under the Skin is the birth of an alien masquerading as a human, played by Scarlett Johansson. It's a film where a woman is dropped into planet Earth without any knowledge of social norms, and we just kind of watch how people react to her. One aspect I love about this film the most is how a lot of the interactions are with locals in Scotland, completely unscripted. And man, there are some thick Scottish accents in this movie. Not even subtitles can save us.
Death are cold if you've not got a jacket or a hat or something on.
It's a gorgeous looking film. The Black Void is one of my creepiest locations a film has ever created. The Mika Levi score is one of my favorites of all time. In college, there was a burned down house we used to visit, and I just remember playing the score at like midnight and creeping out all of my friends. Seriously, check out this film. It's checked off all the right boxes for me and groomed me into watching more thematically dense, surrealistic films. I have put these 3 films in order, and this is a film that I have watched within the year. It's a film I hope a lot of y'all have watched. I saw The TV Glow. I have a full review out on this film, but let me highlight why I am so confident in putting this movie in a video titled Movies That Changed My Life. I Saw The TV Glow is a film about teenagers that bond over a TV show that plays late at night. The kids get separated at one point, and the other kid comes back and says, "Hey, I've been stuck in our TV show." When you watch the film, it's obviously meant to be some sort of trans allegory, but this is where I want to add to this movie's discourse. I love this movie as a straight dude, and it really made me approach life in a different way. First off, the imagery of this film is masterful. The score of this film is pretty much everything I listen to, and it matches the nostalgia it's going for. The overall take-home theme for me is about not being complacent, and this may sound like a really simple hustle/grind set life tip, but films are about execution. The execution of the lonely teenager, the execution of high school life, the execution of mood, the execution through the performances. I never really thought Justice Smith had the sauce until I watched this movie. The ending is one of the most visceral and in-your-face endings that makes you want to live a different life than you are living. That may sound hyperbolic, but I just couldn't shake this feeling after watching it that I needed to do more with my time. It's one of my favorites of the year. I gave it a perfect score if you care about stuff like that, and it's definitely going to be in my top 10 video later in the year. And that is the brief list. Let me know if you've seen any of these 3 movies. Let me know what movies you believe changed your life. I'll see y'all later.